She is a producer. She's an action-oriented person. And I know she transitioned to a new business that's done over 40 something thousand in commissionable volume. Okay. So if you're used to like wellness products, so she did over 40,000 of volume, which in her company, in actual sales, that's over 80,000 in actual sales, her very first month of business, by following a simple process. And I'm really excited to have her share with you today, what is she doing in the trenches? My goal for this World Changer platform is to raise up purpose-driven leaders. And the way that we're going to do that is I'm really focused on not just getting generic trainers all the time, but finding specific leaders. I find, and this is really interesting, and I'm going to speak to myself, I'm going to speak about my own story real quick. For 10 years, I became a coach full-time for network marketing. And what's really interesting, the further away that I've gotten from building, and I've always had, many of those years I've had a six-figure income, so I wasn't completely out of the industry over those times. I've always had something going on the side, but it wasn't until, when I'm really focused all in for a company is when my mind becomes really sharp and my focus of what really my team needs to hear for duplication. Because I've learned as a generic coach, I offer incredible value, but there's a difference between offering value of what people really want, because as a trainer, it's really good to give people what they want. But as a leader, it's way more valuable to learn from someone who can give you what you need, even if you don't like it. Do you guys get the distinction of that? And the reason why I really love being sharp, even as a trainer, a generic trainer to a lot of companies, and jumping into businesses and building and getting sharp, and because there's pain in recruiting. It's not easy. It could feel painful. It could feel hard when no one shows up. It can feel hard when no one enrolls like you think they're going to. And it can feel challenging when not everybody duplicates. So learning that refinement of that process is the fun challenge that you have and we have as builders in this business. And I wanted to bring up one of the best today, literally one of the best right now. And I'm saying one of the best currently in this industry. And that is who you're going to learn from today. So hold on tight, grab your notes, grab your coffee. By the way, do you guys like this coffee mug? Anyways, pretty cool. We're going to bring up Molly Dalbec. Molly, thanks for being here today.
Oh my goodness. Can you hear me okay?
You sound great. You look great.
Okay.
Lighting's perfect. You look like you're in
awesome
Stewart background there.
What's that?
Thank you for being here. I'm gonna push mute and let you take over.
Thank you so much for inviting me on this call. It's such a privilege. And I've been, like you said, I've been following you guys for years, and we met at a conference. I think we figured it was between 15 and 20 years ago. And so now to come full circle and be able to be, co-hosting on this call, it's really surreal for me. And I just want to say thank you so much for all the value that you bring to the industry, because that's what's gotten me to where I am today. It's coaches like you that, even being on this call today, even if you just pick up one little nugget, that's really kind of my journey in a nutshell. It's about picking up those little nuggets and saying, okay, this is the one thing that I can implement right now. I can practice it and I can move forward. So thank you so much. It's a privilege to be on. And it's interesting that you said trainer and speaker, because I want to share with you guys a little bit about my background. I remember being in medical assisting school, and there was a speech class requirement of all things. It was just one of those things, and I had to come up with a 60-second commercial, and I completely froze in front of the class. And that was probably 20 years ago. I was 23. And I'm almost 40 now. So I attribute this industry to finding the confidence to be able to speak on stages, to be able to get on these calls and deliver a message. And it wasn't, if it wasn't for the process of actually diving into these calls, learning, practicing, refining, then I would have never been called a speaker, guys. That's just not me. I'm an introvert, and that's my nature. So I've grown into this. So I want to just kind of stress that wherever you're at right now is absolutely perfect. And you can actually grow into that leadership. You can grow into that refinement. So a little bit about my background. So I grew up in a very modest home, 5 kids, where we were just kind of, it was a very humble beginnings. I didn't come from money, nothing like that. And I just remember having this desire to be able to be that present mother for my kids that my mom was for us, but also not have to struggle financially. I wanted to find something. I wanted to have my cake and eat it too, right? And it wasn't until my kind of late teens, early 20s that I was struggling with some anxiety. And that anxiety led me to finding different personal growth books, things that I could grow myself and like learn how to get past that anxiety. And it was those personal growth books like Think and Grow Rich and How to Win Friends and Influence People. And, those classic books that opened up the door to the idea of network marketing, to the idea of building my own business from home, to leveraged income versus, going to a job and getting paid for basically trading time for money. And it opened up this whole new world to me where it made me think, wow, maybe I don't have to struggle. I didn't have the desire to have 5 kids, but I knew I wanted to have kids one day, and I wanted to be at home with them, but I also wanted to make money. And so it really started with the mindset for me. And there's a little bit of background noise here. I don't know if I can mute that out. No, maybe not. It really started with the mindset for me. I started learning that, I'm muted. Okay, there we go. Okay, can you guys hear me okay? Okay, awesome. I got muted out. So it was learning about how to write out affirmations to get over my anxiety. And then what I did is I took that practice of that daily affirmation and I actually infused it into business and into a money mindset shift, a paradigm shift. And that was like my first inclination that, wow, I can actually change my life. I can actually be in control of the direction that I go. And before that, it was like life's just happening to me, where I'm just kind of like this pawn in a game. and it wasn't until I realized, wow, what I do, what I think, what I say, the actions that I take actually can help control the direction of my life. And that sounds so simple, but that was a huge shift in my life. And then all these things started coming towards me as far as like opportunities. And so got involved in the industry, and it wasn't an easy road for me in the beginning. In fact, 7 years, I actually tried my hand at different businesses and just kind of tried and failed. And so if you're in a business right now that there's a system that's working and people are having success, like kudos to you. I remember getting a list of, these are 72 ways that you could build your business, and basically, just throw it at the wall and see what sticks. In this day and age, and with social media and with the simplicity of systems that have been proven and refined, you can literally just plug in. And at the end of the day, whatever business that you're in, and I'm assuming most of you are in direct sales, network marketing, some sort of a sales type platform, there's really 4 things to focus on. Number 1, inviting. Number 2, exposing. Number 3, following up. And number 4, enrolling. And of course, there's a few things in between there, like, getting them into a third party, things like that. But that's how simple our business is. And what I've found throughout the years is that you have to have almost a level of discernment to sift and sort. There's a passage in the Bible that talks about getting rid of the little foxes in your life. And I always refer to that and I think, okay, what are those little foxes that are trying to steal from my focus every single day? And I look at, whether it's Netflix, whether it's Facebook scrolling, whether it's comparison, you know, we all have our own little foxes. And when we can eliminate all of those things and remain focused on just the things that build your business, you know, one of the sayings that I try to kind of adhere to is success is the sum of small efforts worked day in and day out. And it's not about the glamorous, you know, excitement, because that always wears off, right? You have to be able to have the fortitude to master the mundane. And so what that means is it's not always like fun and exciting reaching out to people about your business every day. Prospecting can be kind of a drag some days, right? Where you're like, oh, you know, I got to send out my messages, I got to do my thing. But those are the people that rise fast in a company or rise for the long term and have that sustainable business. It's about showing up on the things that you don't feel like doing. And so looking at what are the profit producing activities for my business. Number one is inviting. Number two, exposing them, whether you're tagging them in videos, sending them, you know, different resources to learn about your thing. And then following up, simply following up, you know, connecting them to a third party if that's needed, and enrolling them. That's it. And so when you can drill it down to just the simplicity and get really good about eliminating those distracting foxes in your life, then continuing to move through that process, like, you're going to have success. And I always like to stray against, like, never say I'm going to try this thing for a certain amount of time, and if it doesn't work for me, then I'm going to, you know, let it go. I have a very wise woman on my team. When we got on the phone, she was like, you know what, I'm not worried about the short-term success right now. I'm not worried at all, but I'm looking at this like a 5-year plan. This is something that I'm building up towards. This is my fallback plan. This is my side project. And when you have that frame of mind, I feel like you're eliminating all other, you know, all other distractions that are going to make you feel like you're not further than you should be. And I think that's what takes people out of the game much faster than it should, is they think that they should be somewhere that they're not. And I just want to encourage you, you know, if you're on the line today, it means that you're hungry. It means that you want to get to that next level, but also know that anything worth having is going to take some effort. It's going to take you getting out of your own way. And hopefully some of this stuff is landing, but I did write some notes down. So I want to share with you. These are just a few things that I've, you know, learned being in the industry now full time for 11 years. You know, when I had my first son, he's 11 now, I just knew I didn't want to go back to work. I knew that I wanted to be able to make this work for me. And so whatever that driver is for you, like, connect to that thing. They say, you know, have your why that makes you cry. My why is I don't want somebody telling me what to do every day. I want to be able to, you know, call the shots and have that flexibility in my life and be able to, you know, go on a trip when I want to and make my own money and that present parent for my family. So connect to whatever that is for you. And some of you have jobs outside of the home, and that's totally fine too. Like, your thing doesn't have to be my thing, and vice versa, which leads me to a really good point. I want to share with you something that I learned from one of my coaches, Ray Higdon. Many of you probably heard of him. And it's actually called the Thompson Rule, which he learned from his mentors, Larry and Taylor Thompson. And the Thompson Rule basically, and this is going to be a really good tip for those of you who are building teams, who are moving into more of a leadership position. People are looking to you, and you've got a tribe, you know, or that's what's coming for you, right? But the Thompson Rule is this, is that 80% of people are going to have a desire level of $500 a month or less. Now that might sound kind of crazy to you guys, but what that means is people are coming into your opportunity not just for the money. they're also coming in because they like the discount on the products. They're coming in because they love the community. They're coming in because they like the culture. They're coming in because they want to grow themselves as a person. They want to feel connected. They want to be a part of something bigger than themselves. And one of the biggest mistakes that I made in the beginning of my industry, of being a part of the industry, was projecting my own desire level onto my team members, thinking that they wanted what I wanted, which was to go to the top, right? That's what my desire level was. And what I found is during that time, I would push people away because they're like, oh, that's not my thing. I didn't recognize it at the time, but that is such a valuable lesson. And then 15% of people are going to make between, you know, 1 and 3,000 or 5,000 a month, kind of like in that range. And then only 5% of people on your team are going to really, really want to go full out with this. And so I feel like that information is super valuable to have, so that you don't, as a leader, as you're bringing people into your business, put pressure on yourself to be like, oh, why isn't my team doing more or whatever. Instead, you can say, oh, well, maybe their desire level is in the 80% bracket. And so I'm going to love on them. I'm going to make sure that they feel welcome being in our community. And I want them to show up. And you know what? They're going to buy the product. They're going to hang out. They might even come to the events, right? And so I think that was like one of my biggest shifts in this industry. So hopefully that helps you guys. Talked a little bit about don't hinge your success on I'll try this for a month. Like, look at it as a long-term sustainable plan for your life. Like, don't put stipulations on your goal of where you're going. And along the lines of setting goals, make sure that instead of putting all of your focus on setting the goal, that you put most of your focus on like the action steps, the activities. And that was another big shift for me too, where it was like, oh, I wanted to be at the top and I wanted to, get to this certain level. But what I wasn't focusing all of my energy on were, what are the little steps every single day that are going to get me there? And I'll, as a reminder, those are invite, tag in the videos or expose, follow up, and enroll. Those are the only things that are going to build your business. And of course, you want to share on social media and, be a presence for your brand, right? You want to be showing up and creating that for other people. But really, it's about simplicity. So the only gap between your goal and where you're at right now is how often and how much you're doing those activities. And the only thing that gets in the way of doing those activities is this right here. And so, like Tom said when he first started the call, oftentimes we think that our team needs a certain message, and what they want and what they need are oftentimes two different things. And it really does come down to the mindset of your belief system. And you don't even necessarily have to have a huge belief system for the company or the product or whatever. It's about the process. Like, you have to believe in yourself. You have to have an inner conviction that what it is that you're sharing with another person could potentially change their life. And that's another thing that we can't attach ourselves to. Like, if I'm doing my job of exposing it to as many people as possible, the people that are hungry and they have that desire level and it's going to change their life, they get to decide, right? They get to decide who they're going to be and how they show up. So that for me was a huge shift, because it took so much pressure off of me as trying to project my thing onto other people. And I really want to drill that home. Okay. So another thing on mindset is, conviction, having that strong belief system. How do you get a strong belief system? So one thing that I learned from one of my other mentors, Brendan Burchard, if you guys listen to him at all, but I remember hearing him say something about confidence. So some of you, if you're feeling, oh, I'm not confident enough to build my business, he says confidence comes from competence. And how do we get more competent in our business? Well, we get competent by practicing. And what are we practicing? We're practicing inviting. We're practicing following up. We're practicing the exposure process. We're practicing that enrollment process. So it all really comes back to those simple things. And again, getting rid of all the little foxes that we think are in the way, but they're really not, because when we focus on those things, then we continue to grow. So I just loved that. The only way to gain competence is through practice and action. So if you're ever feeling fear in your business, ever feeling uncertain, ever feeling like, what should I do? My biggest advice to you is to take action. Action always eliminates fear. So and also, like, when you get in that place of like, oh, I'm not seeing results, or I'm not getting this or whatever, even if you're not, as long as you're planting those seeds. So sometimes people will get discouraged when they start reaching out for like a week or whatever, and they're like, oh, nobody's responding. I say, that's not long enough, especially like if you're brand new in the industry and you haven't been, providing value to your community, like 30 days minimum of planting those seeds to really start building up a momentum on the same message. Then when you start moving into 60 days, then you're going to start seeing, a little bit of responses. Again, if you're brand new and you don't have that influence built up, you can make up in numbers what you lack in skill. And I believe that's a Zig Ziglar quote or something. But that's one of the biggest things. That's how I started my career. I was horrible at live video. I was horrible at reaching out. I was buying expensive leads, getting on the phone, cold calling. I was, going to people's doorsteps, dropping off air purifiers in one of my first companies, coming back 3 days later. I did all the things, you guys, and failed at all of the things. And I'm so grateful that I allowed myself the process of growth and didn't give up and throw in the towel. And some of you might ask, why didn't you throw in the towel after failing for 7 years? The answer is personal growth. I was so in love with who I was becoming that it didn't even matter, like at the time, how much money I was making, because that was so valuable for me. I pulled myself out of anxiety. I pulled myself out of a slump, and it made me realize, wow, I can become a better person. And this is the industry that I'm going to choose to continue to grow. And you can't grow to the level that you want to grow unless, and I'm sorry, I don't know how to turn that off. You can't grow to the level that you want to grow if you don't dive into that, if you're not committed to that growth process. Okay. So hopefully this is landing for you guys. As you can imagine, I got a lot of no's in the beginning stages of my business. And I want to encourage you, as you continue to grow, as you build your influence, you will get less no's, but you will continue to get no's. Like, that's part of the process. And it's such a time for a teaching moment every single time you get a no. I've got no's this week, are not interested or whatever. And it's so refining. And now it just flows right off of me. It's not, but I remember, like, when I first started a YouTube channel, so this is back in the day when it was like, that was where you go. That was the platform. Now they're definitely heating up again. But my YouTube channel, I remember getting a comment that said, "You're a loser, get a job." And I was talking about, business and working from home. And I was just a young girl, super like shy and, all of that. And I remember calling my mentor at the time and being like, oh my gosh, I don't think this is for me. I'm getting hate comments. And he's like, Molly, do they have what you want? Who is this person anyways? Who is this fictitious person that doesn't even have the guts to put their profile picture up on their comments, right? And that was a huge lesson for me, because it's like, yeah, who am I taking advice from? And is that person, like, are they where I want to go? So find those people in your life where you're like, that depicts the kind of lifestyle that I want to have. So those are the people that I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to accept their feedback. I'm going to take their criticism. I'm going to take, the things that are going to refine. And Tom says it really, really well. Iron sharpens iron. And so be very careful when you're going out there, what kind of advice and what kind of feedback that you're actually accepting. Because oftentimes it's the people that are closest to us that will say the things that we don't want to hear, and that are deflating, in a way. And so find those people, and just as kind of indicators, like if this person approves of this for me, and if that's the example that they're setting for their life, that's what I want to follow. So I'm going to take advice from them. I'm not going to take advice from the naysayers, right? So focus less on the goal, more on the activities, filter and discern, get rid of those little foxes in your life. And then finally, I want to talk about, and Tom had kind of touched on this too, like the value piece. One thing I learned from a previous coach, Shanda Sumter, she really broke down what money means to people. And when you're in your business, a big part of me being able to grow my business now and coming from kind of a lack mentality, we grew up very, like I said, humble beginnings, 5 kids, 1 bathroom, small little rambler, like didn't have anything really. But we had love and we had each other, but I knew that there was more. I always knew that there was the next level of service. And so I had to train my mindset to realize money is good. It's not evil. Money is service. Money is value. You can give more. I had to really raise my vibration in the area of money to be able to receive more of it. And what I realized is money is just energy. It's a tangible exchange for value. And so the more value that you're giving out to the world, the more money is going to come to you just naturally. It's like this natural flow. But in the process, we can actually block ourselves from receiving it based on scarcity, lack, feeling like, oh, that person signed up my person, or little things, those little foxes that will come in. And it's like, the more that we can release that immediately and be very quick to readjust and be like, you know what? There are billions of people in the world. That is just one person. And there's more than enough for all of us. And there's more than enough opportunities in the world. And just expanding that vibration internally, I think is a really, it's just a gift. It's a gift that you can allow yourself to get to. And you can start by doing that with affirmations, just like with my anxiety. I started writing out, like, I am abundant. Abundance is all around me. Money flows freely to me. Money is energy, and money comes and goes, and it flows through and around me. And that might sound kind of uncomfortable for some of you listening, but for me, having a really messed up mindset around money, like there was never going to be enough. There was never going to be enough. And so then once you get it, you got to keep it. And I realized that the more you give and receive and let it flow, it allowed me to also look at sales differently, where I don't have any issues taking people's money for my product or my opportunity, because I realized that I'm of service to them. Like, this is a gift for them. And so when you can make that shift of like, oh, I don't want to bug them, or this is going to be too much for them. I always top pack 100%. Like, that's what I lead with. This is what you need. When people have more skin in the game for your business, if you're not leading with the top pack, when they have more skin in the game, you are serving them at the highest level that you can serve them. Because if you cut them short based on your own mentality about money mindset, then you're basically projecting that limitation onto them. And that is something that I realized too. In the beginning of my career, it was like, oh yeah, just get into the 49th level, or just get into the, I just want to get you in, right? And so it shifted to, oh my gosh, I'm seeing people coming in at the highest pack and they're having better results faster than those that are tiptoeing in. And so those are my tips. I could probably talk all day, but, you know, connection, communicating, and serving, and, you know, hopefully this is all landing. And my goal with this today is I wanted to just share a few things that I've learned throughout the industry. I told Tom it's going to be kind of a hodgepodge, but even if you could take one thing or one little golden nugget and apply it to your business and start seeing results, then I feel like I've done my job today. So thank you so much, Tom, for having me on, and Kim. And yeah, if you want me to share anything else, I'm happy to.
No, we're good. No, I'm kidding. That was literally amazing. And you know the most amazing part of that, and by the way, yes, can you all do me a favor right now on the chat and just say, what did you like most about, give her some love if you loved it, which I know a lot of you did, most of you. And also what was a nugget for you? Like, what was a nugget for you? The comments, Molly, like when I do these world changer calls, first off, there's not this many people on it, number one. Number two, I don't get this much love, y'all, which really makes me see you are amazing. People love you. And it was such a different perspective of just the normal world changer call. And I really appreciate you.
Oh, well, I'm hoping that it landed well for everybody.
No, Molly, just when you see the comments, it landed. I can't even read them. To be honest, I can't even read them because they're flying too fast. You got to go back. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to copy this all for you, and I'm going to get it to you if you haven't gotten it.
Oh, that would be awesome. I would love the feedback. I appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for letting me share. And
yes,
yeah,
you're not done.
What's that?
I'm not done yet. I got.
I'm not done. Okay.
A couple quick things. A couple quick things that I got. And there's so many different points, but I got this from Hans Johnson and Danny too. And I've heard this like, and it was so good. When action eliminates fear. Mm-hmm. Action, and I love to say it this way, it suffocates. It was so good because you don't have time to think. You don't have time to listen to the enemy. You don't have time to listen to it's not going to work or whatever. Number two, meet people where they're at. And to be honest, that hit me like in the gut, because it hit me in the gut the most. And I almost didn't want to wreck sometimes my people's ego. And I'll just say my ego. I almost like, oh crap, that's a weakness of mine. Like it exposed me and I'm like, oh crud. And I definitely wasn't going to share that it is my weakness because I'm so focused on going so big in my life. Over 25 years, I've learned that there's no such thing as a financial monthly number of how big your team can be, how many leaders you can have, or how much you can make in a month. You know, my goal is $1 million a month residually in this industry. But I know when I speak, I've got to speak to people where they're at. So I need to hear that more than you possibly know. Thank you for sharing that perspective I didn't even think about. Gosh, there's so many things coming through. Let's do this. Let's do it this way first. And since I've got Molly here, and if you want to go directly with a question with Molly, unmute your Zoom right now and say your first name and one question, please. Okay? And step up and do it right away. Who wants to be first to ask Molly? Say your name and keep it generic. Remember,
I am Jordan.
Jordan, you're first. Let me just mention this before anybody asks a question today, Jordan. If you all could do me a favor, remember the World Changer calls on Tuesdays and Saturdays are a leadership call to the entire team building industry, no matter what company you're in. So keep it somewhat generic if you can, okay? Jordan, thanks for stepping up.
Yes, good morning. Okay, first off, I needed this so bad. Every single mentor that you mentioned, I have followed and just found light out of them and found, it, oh wow, it just makes perfect sense. Like fear suffocates. You just have to do it. You have to do the work in order to eliminate the fear. And fear is a liar also. That's another really great one. It's all in your head. It's all in your mindset. But my big thing is I've been trying to do between 15 and 20 reach outs per day, and then between 20 and 30 follow-ups per day. I got to a point where I was having 1 to 2 phone calls every single day. But my main question is, when I'm in those phone calls, I forget, okay, how can I get to this person on a personal level? What are those questions that I need to ask that really make people dig in and think of their why? Because this whole situation, this experience for me is, I jumped in. I mean, I was like, this is incredible. I was super excited, but not everybody sees it that way. And I'm starting to see that less and less people are on my vision. How do I keep my vision, and how do I ask the right questions to help bring that to them and their vision? If that makes
Yeah, awesome question. Do you want me to answer?
Yes, please. The floor is yours, Molly.
Hi, Jordan. So awesome question. So in the beginning, you know, when I didn't know the questions to ask, I would always plug them into someone who did. And so there's a level of credibility that you can take someone beyond you, that I would recommend either doing a three-way chat with your sponsor, somebody that can ask some of those questions. You know, some of the questions I like to ask are, you know, what's going on in your life right now to be open to this? And where do you see this going for you? You know, how would you like to build it? I want to see what is their vision. How are they seeing it? And then we can kind of go from there. But for you, Jordan, I would start plugging those people in. If you're mastering already the inviting, you're mastering that process of getting them to that step, I would introduce them to a third party. So whether that's through a three-way chat on Facebook, which in this day and age is a really, really easy duplicatable way. We've had so many people that have come back and said, you know, I really love this system that you're doing in the way of, you know, doing something really simple like a three-way chat, because people can then get to it when they can. They can hop in and do a little voice message, and it's not like this long, you know, let's set up everybody's schedule type thing. People are super busy. So I would say third party for you will help you start bringing in more of those enrollments to bring in that third party credibility. That help? Oh, she's muted.
You said yeah.
Yes, that really, really helps. I think I need to do that. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then you're showing your newest person that, hey, you're not going to have to answer the hard questions either. When you come on board with me, we're going to plug you into this person too, or these people, you know, pretty much anyone other than you. Yeah. They can ask a few questions, share their story. Doesn't have to be the top leader person. It can be just somebody that, you know, say you're talking to a single mom, like find another single mom in your team and say, you know, I really want to introduce you to this person because you guys have a lot in common. I want her to share her story with you. You know, if you have any questions, just so they are more connected out, like beyond you. That would be my biggest advice.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Thank you. Appreciate it.
One quick thing that I've learned to do as Kim and I start getting up, we get to the point where we can't do all the three-way chats or three-way Zooms with different people that want to do that with us. So what we've learned to do is create a culture where you find people that are friends, cross-line, even team members, and you have a whole list. Like I always have a list of people that I can do three-way chats on Facebook with, or that are available for three-way messaging through Zoom like we're on right now. And I'll be on with me and my team member and my new prospect. And I'll be like, hey, Mary, can you share real quick? Why did you come in at the top package? And what have you found how to get customers here? Because that was her question. Can you go ahead and help? And then, so I will have a lot of team members do it, not just upline, because sooner or later, the upline is going to be to the point where there's just no way mathematically that they can do all the different three-way chats. So definitely use the upline, definitely use a leader up above if you can, but also find friends in crossline as well. All right, who's got another question for Molly?
Don't be shy.
I have a question. Hello?
Hi. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, my name is Lisa.
Hi.
I struggle with questions about like, well, I can't quit my job because I have, I need my life insurance, or I need health insurance. And they are scared of network marketing, or they've heard something negative about it. How do I go about getting past that barrier?
Yeah, I know for me, I would never encourage someone to quit their job. You know,
right.
This is a business that you're building into. You're not going to have, and and I never want to insinuate that it's an overnight success. Like, this is a journey. And so I would say, great, you know, don't quit your job. You know, this would be something that you can add on the side. And I would, you know, reverting back to Danny Johnson's script from way back in the day, you know, when they say, you know, I don't like network marketing, I would say something like, what do you mean by that? Like, what does that mean to you? You know? And then they'll usually expose their belief system around it. And then you can say, well, that's not what this is. You know, this is what this is. And is that something that you're more open to? You know, and kind of revert the conversation into, I never ever get into a battling match during prospecting. If they say, I don't like network marketing, I might pry a little bit, say, you know, what do you mean by that? Because I really want to know, I want to qualify the objection, because oftentimes the objection is not the objection. There's a hidden thing underneath it that you can kind of bring forward, and to see really what that means to them, because it might mean a past experience that has nothing to do with what your business does right now, you know? And so that is an opportunity for you to say, oh, I'm sorry that happened to you. That's definitely not what this is. You know, I'd love to connect you with somebody so they can share their story. Again, bring in third party and just say, you know what, you remind me of, you know, my friend who felt the same way about network marketing. And in fact, now she's XYZ in the company. And, you know, like, always follow it up with a story of success, based on where that person is at, because then you're connecting the dots, and also bringing light to it's validating what they're feeling, because it is based on a past, you know, experience, but you're also allowing to bridge the gap from where they are right now to where they could be. I don't know if that helps.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was so good. All right, who's next?
I have a quick question.
Hi, Amy.
Hello, beautiful.
Yeah, say your first name. There you are, Amy Bell. Amy Bell, by the way, for all you, Amy did over 10,000 in volume using the similar process that Molly's using, by the way. Congratulations on your success, Amy. What is your question?
Thanks. Okay, so really quickly, now that things have gone so much more through social media and stuff and prospecting, with some of these platforms, for example, Instagram, there are a lot of companies that are doing paid advertising to some of these people. How do you deal with people coming back and saying, you know what, I would love to collaborate with you if you would just send me your product and I'll advertise it for you? Or, you know, I get paid to do things with these other companies, so I'm not interested in joining something where there's any money up front.
Yeah, I've had that come up a couple times, and I just kind of, I basically tell them, well, that's not really what this is. We're really looking for active business partners that want to, you know, take our brand and bring it out to market. So it's not really, you know, it's not really a sponsorship type opportunity. But with that said, this is something that you can have control over, that is a residual base where you have ownership. So with a lot of those sponsorships, you know, they're just getting money here, money there, money here, money there, but it's not like building up for them, you know?
Got it.
So I think bringing the value to them actually having a leveraged asset that's going to grow for them versus always having to go out and get that deal. It's kind of like the coaching industry too. Like you're getting another client, you know, and you have to work in at some point a residual leveraged model so that you can have something that grows. So
yeah,
communicating that though, you know, I haven't had a ton of experience with I'm horrible at Instagram, so
yeah, and I
it
will
has
say
come up a couple times.
Yeah, you'll definitely find it more on Instagram for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And TikTok.
Yeah.
I can help with that question a lot because I've been seeing it a lot. My daughter is reaching out to influencers. She's 20. So her mind is big,
Yeah.
people with big influence and
Think
have
big.
Instagram accounts. And we've come to the conclusion that for her, she's now marketing 35 and up, which isn't as many influencers and Instagram and the models. And it's working much better to find the moms over 30 or 35.
Got it.
But she's been and she's been having a lot more success with it. Number two, we are creating a World Changers funnel or piece of content video that let me hit mute here. There we go. That is influencer versus owner residual based income. So it's a video that just kind of lays it out. So when you have an influencer and they're like, well, how much can you pay me? Can you send me free products? Hey, great question. Let me just share with you up front exactly, what we're looking for. And it really sells the benefits on what it's like to be an owner, where you get to you get to rep the product, but own the product and own that piece of residual. Plus, if those customers want to become an owner or be a builder, then you earn on them too. It's a superior model of being an influencer. And if that's not for you, it's okay. But right now where we're at is we're not really going after influencers, because I find to convert their thinking, a lot of them are a little entitled, good or bad. Not saying it's horrible entitlement. That's just their thing and what they're used to, right? So if we can't convert their thinking with the video, preferably, then right now we're just focusing on our target market, which is a little bit older, or people that aren't influencers or looking for that free, give me all the free stuff first and we'll see. And Gymshark, companies like Gymshark and other things out there like that do that a lot. So they're used to that. But all they're doing is getting free products and maybe a couple bucks. Very few people are really making big money as influencer marketers.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, who's next? Anybody else? We could do, Molly, time for one more or so?
Sure.
I think I have a question.
Great.
Hi. No, I thought that everything you shared today was so valuable because I'm brand new in network marketing. And so a lot of the stuff that you shared, some of your past experience that you had, like with your YouTube comment and stuff, those are kind of like fears that I already have. So it's kind of nice hearing, your story on that. But I was just wondering, because I wrote down, you put inviting, exposing, following up, and enrolling. Coming from someone who's brand new like myself, where I never really brought much value to my, my social media accounts, for me to now get involved in something like this, I feel that like when I've reached out to people just ignore me, because all of a sudden I'm coming to them with this opportunity or, this product. And I guess I'm kind of struggling. I don't know if I should be allowing more time for me to build up my social media with like valuable content before I just, send people messages. I just didn't know kind of what you recommend between how much time I should put between having a conversation and starting that conversation and inviting them to something, or should I be first just putting out free content and, bringing value to my page and letting people come to me? I guess that's kind of just where my struggle is and where I should be investing a lot of my focus and energy.
Yeah, for sure. That's a great question. The biggest thing and I kind of like work on intuition sometimes. So the biggest thing that came up for me as you were sharing that was in your messaging, when you're reaching out, how vulnerable about why you're doing what you're doing have you been with people? Because I feel like when you're saying things like, I just started a business because I need to. I've got 3 kids at home. This is going on in the world. My husband just lost his job and this looks like super fun. When you kind of like humble yourself to your situation, I feel like there's more of a connection versus, oh, now I've got a business. Now I have to talk businessy. And I think that is like a roadblock sometimes for brand new people where they're like, oh, I got to be this person. But instead, like whenever I'm more vulnerable and like, hey, I need to take this on. Like I need a project right now because my mindset's not right. My kids are driving me nuts and this looks super positive, whatever it is, you know what I mean? I'm just making that up. But I don't know how much of that is in your messaging, Bethany, but that's maybe something I would play with, because no, I don't think you should take more time to, I believe that society as a whole is we're moving fast, and yes, there's definitely more of a connection to opportunity right now to really form those connections, because people are starving for connection. They're also starving for real. They want to know, why did you do this? And they relate to that. I don't know if that lands at all for you, but that's the biggest thing that came up for me. And Tom, I'm sure you can obviously speak into that maybe even more.
That's good. Yeah,
Screen before him.
what's that?
I think there's
Down and
an it says iPhone.
Here, I'll unmute everybody. I'll mute everybody real quick. Can you, let me make sure everybody's muted. Okay, cool. Yeah, okay, we're good, I think. So, you know, I used to have this 2-hour training that talked about, anyways, I'll just say what Tanya Eliza taught me that changed my life. And because it took my hour training into 30 seconds. You need to active prospect and passive prospect, because everybody in network marketing is paying way too much money and spending way too much time to learn how to attraction marketing and build their brand. And it's never a discouragement of doing it, but you need to master active with credibility and posture and confidence and love and your story. Like what Molly said, that's active, which means you're manually reaching out and just getting to the point sometimes. And it doesn't mean you're spamming or pitching hardcore, but it's just like, hey, I wonder, I want to reach out to you because I just partnered with a company. Sometimes it's a little bit, you're connecting with them because you're finding out about them, or you're telling your story, like Molly said, which is so beautiful. I don't do that either. I'm going to start doing that, Molly. Thank you. Gosh, such an amazing, like ahas. So telling your story, but also kind of finding something special about them, but just going for it sometimes and not having to spend too much time. You don't need to spend weeks or months or years to build a relationship with everybody. Although I do have one small list of about 10% of the people I reach out to where I put under courting, which means I discern that I just want to take my time with a little bit different with, and how do I know who these people are? I don't. I just do this so much every day that I discern. I'm like, oh no, Molly Dalbec, I want to take my time with her. No, but thank goodness I didn't, sometimes I just go for it. So it's active, which is just not worrying about branding or social media. It's just loving and reaching out to people directly on their messenger, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn. It almost doesn't matter anymore. And then, but over time you do. I believe that many of you, not all of you, many of you, it is good leverage to build, a little bit of a presence of people, because if you build a presence or a brand or attraction or whatever you call it online, it does make it life easier in a year from now, 2 years from now. People do reach out to Molly, I'm sure. People reach out to Kim and I all day, every day, because, oh my gosh, I saw you on TikTok. I saw you on Instagram, and they either love me or hate me or think I'm the weirdest person, but they know me and they trust me if they do like me. And Kim and I get a lot of people from more of a passive building our brand online over the years. So, but the balance is, to me, it's like 90% active first, and then build your brand kind of on the side over the months and years. Okay, so good. By the way, there's Alice who said, my daughter makes a lot of money being an influencer. But
Elise.
Huh?
Elise.
Oh, Elise. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, please forgive me, Elise. Thank you for correcting me, Molly, and making me better. Thank you. Seriously, I don't want to mess her name up. Elise, I'm so sorry. She says she has 600,000 followers, though, and doesn't make that much money at all. Like, doesn't make much at all. Maybe $150 to $200. Wrong mentality for a model. So she said that really well. Okay, is there just one more quickie today for?
I have a question, if that's okay. It's Angelina.
Yeah, of course, Angelina.
Okay, so I agree totally 100%. I love the vulnerability and, being authentic. And I think it's so important to find your why and believe in it in order to portray what you're trying to give the opportunity to the people that you're reaching out to. The thing that I'm having a hard time with is I don't feel that it's personal to copy and paste messages. Now, how do I'd rather push a button so they can hear my voice and record it rather than, coming from a place of authenticity, you know? So the copy and paste thing for me is so hard. I know it works for a lot of people, but I feel like it gets long-winded and repetitive, and it doesn't feel, and me, I want to do things because I want to help people, and I want this opportunity will help people, and I do know that now. So I feel like so my question, you know, how do you reach that many people without feeling unauthentic by copying and pasting all of these things? And thank you. Very helpful
Yeah,
here.
that's a great question. And so a couple things. Number one, I think that any team needs a model that can be duplicated. And so a lot of people do come into this industry and they don't know what to say at all. And so having a guideline, you know, when you look at scripts in general, I think they should be looked at as guides. And Angelina, if you're feeling like another message or another way of communicating is resonating with your soul more, then I would say do it, test it. But also make sure that it's like anything that's outside of the team system, I will do on my own to test it. And sometimes different things will work for me, but I still want to have that one piece that everybody can do, if that makes sense, because that's something everybody can plug into. And I even tell my team, like, use these scripts as a guide and tailor it to your personality, tailor it to the way that you communicate with your people, and make sure that it feels like something you're connecting with as you're sending it out, right? And so even though it's a script and a copy and paste, you can still send that to 50 people and still feel good about the message. And so I would say get that, whatever that script is, whatever that message is, take it, dissect it, and make it feel aligned for you so that it's not a non-issue.
Yeah, I don't have enough experience to make my own yet here. So I'm going to follow the rules and do that, because I am not at that point yet when it feels authentic and I want to try it. I'm not there yet. So I'm going to stick with the rules and follow the guidelines. So thank you so much.
I love that. And maybe at some point you'll find, you know, your own flow with things. But I'll tell you what, the same script I'm using is the same script. Like, I'm using the same thing that I'm having my team use right now, and, you know, it's working. And so it's about, sometimes I feel like we have to get ourselves out of our own, like, things that are holding us back and making us feel uncomfortable for the person that's going to enroll, knowing that I'm in service to this person. And if I know that there's a proven model that is working, then that's what I'm going to run with until I learn otherwise.
Agree. Thank you so much. That makes so much sense.
You're welcome.
I'm going to give you Kim's and my five formula right now in less than a few seconds here, guys, for the exact, like, are you talking about the reach outs, Angelina? Like what you say in the reach out, right?
Yeah, it just felt really too long. I want it to be short and sweet, because I feel like to all this information, when you send them a book, that is automatically going to turn them off. So I think the one that I'm using is not feeling right. And I'm, maybe in my own head, but I really don't have hesitation to reach out to anyone. This is the first time I've ever felt like that. But I also want it to be short, sweet, to the point, so that these people are not like, holy wow, that's a lot of information, Yeah.
Okay. Let me share that. I have to share this really quickly because it's really working for Kim and I over the last few months. When I'm teaching people, I teach them to, when you're doing a reach out, all I focus on is one word. Oh no, a few words. Are you open? So if you say something before your story, or why you're reaching out to them, or complimenting them, or afterward you're complimenting them, or you're talking about them, or you're talking about maybe your story real brief, or something short about, hey, can I add you to a Facebook group? And then it's, are you open? And I got that. I don't know if it was from Ray Higdon or Eric Warrior, someone, I heard that too. That's just the buzzword. If you think of are you open, whether you're texting, audio, video, you could almost, as long as it's short on the front end and short, just are you open is what the biggest thing that attracts to say yes, not are you interested. It still will work, by the way. And all the things will work. but are you open seems to be simple and short to the point. But here's the 5 quick in order of the best way to reach out that I've noticed. Number 1 is exactly what you said, Angelina, a standard copy and paste message, either your story or again, something to do with, are you open to joining a Facebook group or whatever. So it's copy and paste. And I will say without a shadow of a doubt, that method for the first time in the history of over 100 years in network marketing is working beautifully. But you do have to reach out to a lot more people. This is the smallest form, or because my daughter's doing it. My daughter is not doing the other 4 methods that we do. She's not ready for it. She's not confident. She's not ready for it. I'll just say that, okay? And she's succeeding with that. She's succeeding with copy and paste on Instagram, copy and paste on Facebook, copy and paste to direct message. Number 2, the next better evolution is a custom text, for sure. You know, customizing it. Hey, I just noticed that you have a beautiful family. And of course, customizing that's way better. And she's doing that now too. Actually, she does that a little bit too. But number 3 is way better. Number 3 is way better. It's hearing the heartbeat of your heartbeat when you audio them and hit that audio button on Instagram or Facebook or wherever. And it's like, hey, I had to reach out. I know I just added you as a friend 5 seconds ago. And sometimes I say that. I had to reach out to you. My wife and I were totally stalking your profile on Facebook. Now, this is my personality. My wife and I were just so impressed with your fitness brand, and we had to reach out to you because one of the best words in our industry is because. People want to know why. Why am I special compared to being spammed or blasted? I'm reaching out to you because. And then remember, so 2 words, because and are you open? So that's number 3. Number 4 is, and we haven't even done this yet. Kim and I are not doing this yet, just because you don't need to, but it is a higher form, is a video. Molly, hey, I'm Tom, and by the way, this is my wife, Kim, and we had to reach out to you because, so if you're comfortable with video, I mean, if you want to, a short video clip saying the same thing, customized to them is the next level. And here's my wife, Kim. My wife, Kim's a little bit old school, and I don't like it as much anymore. And I used to do it for 25 years, which is actually saying, hey, are you available for a quick call real quick, or Zoom? And she's kind of she's changing that a little bit, but initially she referred 13 women using that method, which is the highest form, but not as necessary as it used to be, where you say, hey, are you available quick? I want to share something with you. Hey, I want to chat with you about something. You got a quick second? Call me real quick. You know, that's the method we use for 100 years, you know, or 20 plus years in this industry, Kim and I personally. But what's really cool for leverage and time, we love our sweet spots. Number 3, sending audio messages right now. That is our personal leverage of time. And most importantly, why I like 3 almost better than 4 or 5 or 5 is because it's more duplicatable. They'll remember when you send them a text or an audio, they'll remember that they don't have to make a long 20-minute introduction, build rapport phone call anymore. It's just, hey, are you open to learning about toxic-free living? Are you open to learning about athletic clothing? You know, it's just really simple and to the point. And it just real quick, it does work better when you come across with the confidence that Molly was talking about. If it's not working for you, it's almost always how you're thinking, how you're feeling is coming across. And I know that's not with you, Angelina, but a lot of people it is. Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I'm going to put this, here's what I'd like to do. If you are working with Molly, or I don't know if Molly's open, if anybody's, probably should ask, but if anybody has a good opening script, let's take a few minutes right now. And if anybody wants to cut and paste it in the chat, like what are your opening kind of bullet points? And keep it generic, please. Maybe take out your company name or something like that. But what are your opening statements that you use? For Kim and I, we're ultra simple. It's just, hey, I compliment. I noticed something personal about them. I'm reaching out because, are you open to, and it's always open to checking out a Facebook group. And I say it so matter of fact and so nonchalant and so expectancy and so smiley and so confident and fun and light and joy and interested. My rate of return is like, I can't even tell you. I can't even keep up with the amount of people that say sure, because I completely expect it, right? So it does make a difference. They don't know that I'm a huge leader. They don't know that I have 25. They don't know. They don't care. They don't know based on my Facebook profile that they don't know. I'm just reaching out just like all of you can and have the same success. And I reach out to 10, 15, 20 new people a day, every day that I don't know on Facebook, brand new from scratch. Okay. You guys are amazing. Molly, you crushed it. Thank you so much for blessing everybody today.
Thank you so much for having me. Like I loved your 5. I'm definitely going to start doing audio a little bit more because I think that does connect, and so many tips from you. I'm continuously learning from you. So it's just a privilege to be here, and thank you so much for your leadership and just the opportunity to share. Everybody's been so amazing. So I appreciate everybody.
You bet. And can you spell your name? Go ahead and spell your Molly. It's Molly.
Yep, Molly, Molly, and then Dalbec, Dalbec, which.
Yeah. So if you're kind of goofy and want to have fun, TikTok, follow Molly on TikTok or Instagram. Obviously, she keeps her content very generic, so you can learn a lot and see kind of how she gets out there in the social webs. Sometimes the best way to learn. There are so many comments. There's no way I can read all those questions today, guys. And all the love. I'm copying all the love, Molly. I'm going to send it to you here right now. Thank you all for being a world changer. And the way that you could be the best world changer for you and your family and the people that you're going to bless is go out there and take the action that you know you're supposed to today and learn what to do in this industry. Literally takes less than 30 minutes. And staying in that zone of getting better at that is the key to success. And of course, blocking out all the fear and all the other stuff too. We love you. Thank you so much, Molly. Thank you all of you for being here, and have an incredibly powerful week. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
And I'm going to keep this up for a second. If y'all want to say goodbye to Molly, I'm going to copy this chat before I close, and y'all can take off. God bless you guys. Great questions, by the way. Some powerful questions. All right.
Thanks, Molly. Thanks, Tom.
You bet, Colleen.
Thanks, guys. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. Yes. Thank you, Angelina.